Hi everyone, welcome to this little demonstration of how to use the frequency function within Excel. I'm doing this at home, so please ignore the mess behind me. And my son's around, so you might find that he comes into the picture sometimes, but please try to ignore that. To get us started then, what I've got in column A is a list of numbers, and what I want to do is I want to be able to group those together into a nice neat table. The numbers that I've got I know are somewhere between 0 and 100, so what I'm going to do for this demonstration is just put them into groups of 10. Now before we start we have to do a little bit of setting up, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in, just for your benefit, a couple of labels. And normally the recommendation is I would split out the lowest number that you want to be counted into one column, a description in a second column, and then the highest number, which has to be inclusive, in a third column. So the actual categories I'm going to use here is I'll just go for counting up numbers between 1 and 10, and then 11 and 20 and 21 and 30 and so on. So I'll start off just by literally typing my lower limits in. So I'll go 1, 11, 21, 31 and so on. I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to typing, so I'm going to now give you a little hint here about what you can do is to actually save a bit of typing. If you've got numbers that are equally spaced apart, you can actually highlight the two numbers together, pick up the copy tool in the corner and then drag that down, and what it will do is it will fill in automatically in those gaps of 10 for you. So that's a nice little hint. I'm then going to use a description, so in this case it's just the word 2, and I'm just going to copy that down. And then in the last column I'm actually going to put my upper limits, which must be inclusive, so I know that 10 will definitely be counted in that category, 20 in that one, and again, like before, to save myself some typing, I'm just going to use the autofill to get the numbers between 10 and 100. Now the next thing is I'm actually going to label the next column along, because this is where I'm actually going to do my counting up, and the most common word for this is the word frequency, hence why we have the function equals frequency. Now on Excel sometimes it can be very specific about the way you must use a particular command, and the frequency one happens to be the worst one that you'll probably come across on this module. So it needs you to be quite precise about the way in which you're going to actually use this command. The first thing it needs before anything else is you must take your mouse and highlight the area where the results will go. Okay, so you can see on the screen here I've highlighted the box next to the 1 to 10, 11 to 20 and so on, and that's in a sort of light blue colour. Only once this area has been highlighted can you start to type in the function frequency. So we'll start off with the equals to let it know we're doing a function or an equation, and I'll type in the word frequency, do an open bracket, and then Excel tries to helpfully tell you what bits of information you're going to need to give it. But it's, in this case, right, it's a bit not very clear, because it talks about data array, bins array, and you go, what are those? Well, actually in this case the data array just means the numbers that you are going to take and put into a table. The bins array is going to be those upper limits which we typed out in column E. So I'll start by highlighting the two areas, so I'll just start off in A1, drag my mouse down until I've run out of the numbers, and I can see here that I've got 125 rows worth, and I'm going to keep that bit of information in my head. I'll put a comma in, say I've finished with that part. I'm going to move the mouse back up to the table itself to make things easier for myself. I'll then highlight the numbers between 10 and 100, which are going to be my upper limits, and then I'll put in my last bracket. Now the most common thing that people would do here is just press return, and that's where most errors occur. In order to get this to do what we want it to do, you actually have to put a combination of 3 keys in, and those 3 keys are Control, Shift and Return. So normally what I would do is I would find the Control key on the keyboard, keep it pressed down, Shift, keep that pressed down, then press enter, and then I've got the results. Okay. What I'm now going to do is I'm just going to double check just to make sure that I've actually got the things I'm expecting, and in order to do that I will actually find out. I've noticed I had 125 values. I'm just going to make sure that these add up to 125, which they do. Okay, so that's the demonstration on how you use the frequency command.